Planned Parenthood clinics nationwide must continue to be reimbursed for Medicaid funding. This comes as the nation's largest abortion provider fights President Trump's administration over efforts to defund the organization in his signature tax legislation. A federal judge making that ruling on Monday. A provision in Trump's tax bill instructs the federal government to end Medicaid payments for 1 year to abortion providers that received more than $800,000 from Medicaid in 2023.
All right, so let's bring back in Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. So this latest ruling actually replaces a ruling from another judge that was handed down just last week.
Yeah, this is Jason's favorite topic, injunctions. Let me give you a few numbers, Jason. 200, that's the amount of clinics that Planned Parenthood says would close if the funding is not given. 24, that's the amount of states that those clinics would close in. And then 1 million, those are the individuals that utilize Planned Parenthood services to get health care that would no longer have access to it just because of this funding. And so the funny thing is this conversation is always a misnomer to me because we're connecting Planned Parenthood with abortion. And while I understand and appreciate that they do provide abortions, what I do not understand is how we're connecting the Medicaid portion, because it's not legal for them to get Medicaid funding. So for you to say we're going to cut funds to people that provide and give abortions, well, you're not funding it. What you are funding is cancer treatment, STD treatment, contraceptives. Those are the things that the funding is going to, and the judge hit on it in her order. The judge is saying that I'm not telling the federal government to provide money for elective abortions or any health care service not otherwise eligible for Medicaid coverage. So I am not even, I'm confused on how they keep trying to merge those two. And I understand it's a talking point, but it doesn't logically make sense.
So, the judge said that this law likely targeted Planned Parenthood specifically, right? So how did courts determine if a law is unfairly singling out one group or another? I mean,
these are the only folks that are to participate. I mean, I should say they're the largest body that's participating in this across the country. 600 plus centers in 48 states in the country. I mean, they're the ones that's constantly suing the federal government to get funding to stop these type of things from happening. And the judge hit on the likelihood of success on the merit. I went over this a number of times with you guys before. Irreparable harm, likelihood of success on the merits, the balancing of the equities in the public policy. The judge specifically talked about the likelihood of success on the merits. They get access to funds just like any other healthcare provider. If it's not something that's excluded, you can't cut down on it. She also talked about how it fell under the threshold of Trump's new implementation of the 800,000 or more. They came under. The judge is saying, give them the funds.
Khalif, breaking down, you're saying that they don't receive Medicaid payments, but for the freedom of choice of provider provision there, so break that down, how that would play into this, or are you saying not at all?
No, it does play into it. I mean, that portion is saying that because I receive Medicaid, these are folks that are low income, disabled individuals, millions of Americans that are receiving this type of funding. These are the folks that should have an opportunity by law to be able to pick the type of provider that they want to go to. Mm-hmm. And I would say that what's different is they're not saying you can pick your provider to get an abortion. That's something that you would have to fund separate. Right. You can pick your provider for cancer treatment, for cancer screening, for STD treatment, for contraceptives. Those are the things. And if you're saying that my insurer is Medicaid, I should be able to go to any provider that I want to. And now, because you're removing Planned Parenthood's ability to be reimbursed, folks have to remember, it's not like the government is cutting a check to Planned Parenthood. I go and I receive services, Planned Parenthood gives me the services, and then they send a bill to receive a reimbursement. Mm-hmm. What this is saying is you guys won't be reimbursed for the services. Planned Parenthood said, well, we've already treated these folks and we'll continue to treat these folks. Now we won't be reimbursed, thus cutting our legs out from underneath us.
Understood.
All right, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, thank you so much for weighing in on that today.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.